All right, welcome back to Intermission Analysis on the KFAN social media channels. Brandon Mileski, along with Pat Micheletti, former Golden Gopher great, and my co-host on Wild Fanland. The Wild have a 3-1 lead after 2 periods. The first half of that period was all Colorado. They had the 2 power plays. They seemed
right.
I don't think the Wild had a shot on goal the first 10
minutes
period, and good for them to respond to a little adversity, though.
I was a little worried, you don't want to give like Colorado the momentum, right? And you give them 2 power plays off the bat, and you're thinking, but you know what? The goaltender came through, and how about the penalty kill? Brodin was unbelievable on the penalty kill, and then they got back in the rhythm, and you know what? They another really good period.
Yeah, Eriksson Ek was also good on that penalty kill. Yeah, on both penalty kills, he had a stick that cleared the play. Let's talk about Brodin, though, Pat. I mean, I know I've talked with you many times, and it's basically
he's my guy.
It's basically the same comments every time. But going back to the last time there was an expansion draft, and the discussion between Wild fans was, do you protect Brodin or you protect Dumba? And I felt like I was in the minority when it came to Brodin, and I said, Dumba's got the sexy offensive numbers, but I thought to myself, you're going to be in a division with McKinnon and Patrick Kane for quite some time. I want to have the elite defensive guy who can skate with those guys. And you mentioned Brodin on the penalty kill. He also had a nice play on that Parise goal as well down low. But he does so many little things, and to have a guy who can skate that elite against a guy like McKinnon, not every team has that luxury.
A lot of great skaters in the league. One comes to mind, Makar. The second one to me is Brodin. I've loved his game forever, and so I'm probably his biggest fan. But man, he just you feel so comforted when he's back there, and he's playing great. And really the whole team is, and they've played 2 good periods. They've got 1 period left. I don't think you change anything going into this 3rd period, Brandon. You've got to keep punching them and play with them, because Colorado's gonna put a push on, and you got to respond.
Well, one more thing quickly on Brodin too. He signed a big contract in the offseason, and a lot of times you can see play dip a little bit,
but not ginormous either.
But he's this might I know it's we're only 13, 14 games into the season so far, but this looks like the best he's ever played, and he's been pretty good throughout his career with the Wild.
Yep. I would agree. It was a great signing, and any thought of him being moved for somebody, or being put out with the expansion, that I think would be a poor move.
J.R. Clark says, Avs color guy said about Kaprizov, quote, the Wild maybe have never had a guy like this ever. One of the great shifts you'll ever see. I know there was no goal at the end of that, but I'll tell you what, Pat, when we've seen Kaprizov in 3-on-3, and we've seen him on 4-on-4, and there's ice to work with, and he can start circling around. That wasn't the first time this year he's been doing the circles.
No.
That is so fun, so entertaining to watch. If the NHL ever goes to 4-on-4 or 3-on-3, after Connor McDavid, Kaprizov might be up there in terms of guys I would draft
Brandon,
in a fantasy draft.
This summer, I cautioned, and I said, well, let's let him get acclimated. Let's let him learn the language, get used to living over here. He's never been over here before. Throw it out the window. If this guy doesn't produce on a nightly basis, the team won't do as well. I mean, he's their best player. I mean, flat out. He just, every shift you watch him, because you don't know what type of play he's going to make, and it's been terrific.
One player that used to be one of the best players on the Wild, that would be Zach Parise, had gone into a little bit of a slump for a couple games there. He's a guy, Pat, that's always scored off of volume, just getting tons of shots, and those have kind of withered away for him. I think he had a 2-game stretch where he did not get a shot on goal. Good for him to get back on the board tonight, his 800th career point. He's had a heck of a career, and we're never going to get first-line Parise again, in my opinion, but you are still going to need that complementary scoring, and he still is a guy, even like in a 3rd-line role that, maybe going up against, 3rd pairings now from the other team, that, still should have enough left in him, left in the tank to be able to contribute for you.
Well, I said this on my weekly appearance with Justin Gard on the Cake Show on Sunday that I think for every, when you're a player of his magnitude, you're proud. In fact, for any pro player, you're proud, right? And you don't want to get less ice time. You don't, want to see less power play time. But it comes to a point in time where that happens, and it happens to everybody. And I think, listen, chances are he's going to be with it, finish his career here, unless something weird happens. So you've got him for another 3 years, 3+. So I think what they need to do is really have a good conversation with them. You're important to this team. Here's your role. We're going to need big goals from you, but you're not going to, you're not going to get those minutes anymore, and let them come to terms with it, because if not, it'll affect the team. So yeah, congratulations on his 800th point, and hopefully he'll get a few more this year.
Travis Parson wants to know who's the Wild's best face-off guy. They seem to lose every single face-off draw. Rask did go 13-1 the other night.
93%. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think Bonino is their best face-off guy. The problem is he's didn't really do much when he was in a top 6 role earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get as many draws because
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would assume it's going to be Bonino when it's in your own end at the end of the game. He's a good defensive player, blah, blah, blah. But really, I don't know. I haven't looked at hard enough at the stats for that.
None of them are great at it.
No.
Jeffrey says, I like Greenway's progress, but he has to stop taking those bad penalties all the time, kills momentum. What do you think happens when Johansson gets back? Does he take Greenway's spot, drop Greenway down to the third line with Foligno and Hartman? Zach coming up on 37, fourth line, your thoughts? Yeah, Greenway has, after a pretty good start through 10 games there, the last couple games, he gets a little loose with the stick. He's got that long stick. He's got the long reach, and sometimes he just kind of flings it around.
Yep, he could use his legs more.
And a guy of that size, though, he's going to get penalties for you occasionally, and you're just going to have. Luckily, they have a good enough penalty kill to kill him off.
Yeah, and where are you going to put guys? Every week, every game is changing just due to COVID and injuries and everything involved in that. So, yeah, I believe Johansson will be a top 6 guy. I hope they keep him on the left side. If that means moving, some other players out, that's fine. They got to find the right combinations that work. Bottom line.
Well, heck, the way Ryan Hartman's playing at center, I might think about reuniting the Eriksson Ek, Foligno Greenway line and putting Hartman up with Fiala and Johansson.
Hey, it's worth a try, right? The guy's
Sure.
hot and he's making plays. And maybe that's what they need on that line. And as much as we talk about, and Billy Guerin made a great statement the other day, sometimes maybe you don't need that top flight center. Yeah, I'd love to have one, but if you have guys like Fiala who control the play, control the puck, a guy like Kaprizov who can do it, maybe it's enough for now. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see.
You want to know how to fix the center position? Matthew Maurer has a suggestion. I already know your answer.
Okay.
But I'm going to show it anyway.
Okay.
Do you think Dumbo would make a good center? Just curious.
I'll let you answer that.
Well, we've heard of people have clamored for Dumbo to be a forward in the past. I just don't. I don't look at him as a forward. I don't look at him as a, just because he's got the elite shot. That doesn't mean you can play forward.
And you can jump,
let alone center.
And you can jump in the play and all that stuff, but you're always going forward, when you're a defenseman, on a rush or in the offensive zone or whatever. You're not going side to side and weaving and in and out and cycling down low. That doesn't happen enough. Look at Brett Burns. I mean, he moved up for a while. He could maybe handle it a little bit better because he was such a good skater and he's so big.
How about the goal he had the other night?
Not bad. Not bad.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it's funny.
Why did we get rid of him again?
Well, I think part of it is he wanted to leave, but I think they were forced into the trade a little bit. But
yeah,
it's funny. You watch him out there, and you see guys like Nico Sturm next to him, and Sturm I think is a pretty good sized kid.
Yeah.
And then when you see him next to Burns, he looks tiny. And then you imagine a guy at that tall with that long a reach who has that hands. I mean, that combination is. I don't know if we've seen. I don't know if we've seen that in the National Hockey League. That's that combination of size and skill
and strength.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I mean, he's a beast.
Tom wants to know. It's the ultimate question: can the Wild make the playoffs and advance beyond the first round? I will say I've been a lot more encouraged the last couple games.
Yeah, so have I. Hey, litmus test tonight, right? Colorado is pretty much your full lineup. Sans Eric Johnson, but it's too early. They're playing well now. You'd like to see it continue, but teams have ups and downs. We see it all year long. Be playing your best at the end of the year, and then we can talk about it.
All right, your favorite question, Pat. Who do the Wild expose for the expansion draft?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I like what you said on Van Line. I think it was 2 games ago. Potentially, if you don't move Dumba, and you can expose that $6 million and it's taken, not the biggest loss in the world.
Well, the interesting part about this now, Pat, though, is I think the assumption was you would just you'd keep Talbot as your goalie, but I think Kakkonen is we still have a long way to go, and things can change mightily by the time the expansion draft comes along. But if I had to make the decision right now, I'm protecting Kakkonen, and Talbot would be exposed.
Probably, he's a lot younger, and looks like he can play cheaper. Allows you to more flexibility. Yeah, we'll see. Again. Long way to go. Long way to go.
We do have a lot of way to go, and things will change. And our opinion might change 2 weeks from now.
That's right. Let's hope we have a good third.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
I will see you Saturday night for Fan Line.
That's right. We'll be back on KFAN after Saturday night's game for Wild Fan Line. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right. Thanks so much for watching both the first intermission and the second intermission. We've had a good time as always. And like Pat just said, we'll be taking your calls on Wild Fan Line after Saturday night's game against the LA Kings on the Fan. Thanks for watching, and hopefully the Wild can close us out in the third period.